Here we go. Take two. Hello, I'm Ernie Floyd, and welcome to Unity in the Community. The Unity in the Community show embraces the City of Worcester's diverse cultural communities, music, the arts, and healthy lifestyles. And joining us now is someone who's making a difference right here in Central Massachusetts, and is joining me right here on Unity in the Community. It's none other than Cami Baker. Cami Baker, welcome to Unity in the Community.
Thank you, Ernie. Thanks for having me again. You know, we've been playing together almost a year, and it's so awesome that the skill set that I've acquired over the last 52 years of life has come to a place where I can benefit you and Unity Radio.
And we're pleased to have that. And we met on a short basis not too long ago. And it seems as though we're able to see each other grow in our short relationship and looking to expand on that relationship, of course. And you have some exciting news for us. Before we start with I just wanted to let everybody know that we were in the process of planning a gala at a very fancy place right here in Central Massachusetts. But unfortunately, as you know, COVID-19 kicked in. And so the social aspect of our event has become a challenge. But with your information you're going to share with us, is you're going to give us some good news and way on how we can still accomplish our goal and maybe not have as much of a challenge as what we were going to experience going forward with our efforts to try to raise money to support Unity Radio. Is that right?
That's right. And for the last couple of years, I've worked with just tons of nonprofits and Fortune 500 companies and businesses on Main Street, USA, to partner the profession and the nonprofit together. And I really have gotten a good grasp of what the nonprofits are needing. And one of the reasons why this is such a spectacular time to be introducing the charitable gifting of real estate is, to your point, your nonprofit, as well as 99% of nonprofits, are being challenged right now. People can't do their bake sales or barbecues or ballroom functions at the moment. So what better way to be able to fund than to find people that have property that, frankly, it benefits them just as much to liquidate that property and give you the cash.
And I find that interesting because during these times, real estate it seems to be a hot commodity right now. So I find that pretty interesting with your new approach, and we're excited about that. And we'd like to be the beneficiary of your exciting new approach on how to raise money. So I understand that you said that, explain the three-legged stool process about this effort.
Sure. And let me give our viewers just a little bit of a background. The reason why this is so powerful, there is 1.6 million nonprofits in the United States. Over 400 billion, about 480 billion actually a year is given to those nonprofits in donations, and less than 2% comes from real estate. But only about 10% of our wealth as a nation is in cash. Whether you make 20,000 a year or 20 million a year, about 10% is in cash, but 43% of our wealth is held in real estate. So all these nonprofits have their hand out, all of them trying to get a piece of the 10% of cash, when in factuality, if they would shift to actually accepting real estate, that opens up a whole nother, opportunity. So the three-legged stool looks like this. There are the advisors. In our case, for me, being a real estate person, history, real estate, financial services, CPA, attorney, in other words, the advisor, the professional who understands that this is possible. The second leg is the property owner or donor, the person who is donating the property. And the third stool is the nonprofit that is receiving the property and receiving the donations. Now, with the Alliance, what we're going to talk about a little bit here is how the nonprofits, in this case let's say Unity Radio, there's a property owner that wants to donate $100,000 to Unity Radio for a round number. We eliminate your risk because you never take title to the property, you never take on the expenses of the property, you don't hire the realtor, you don't do anything but accept the check in front of the camera and say thank you.
Well, that sounds excellent. Matter of fact, you're saying to me that we can take advantage of those benefits. So the old school way of, in respect to other different agencies, they can still continue their bake sales. They can still continue the church outings and the events and the galas as well. This is just another form of trying to raise money for their worthy cause. But with that, you have a team, I believe. And tell us about your team.
Thank you. So the alliance itself, the International Alliance for the Charitable Gifting of Real Estate, was created so that we have an umbrella of vetted resources, relationships, education, and certification. So in the alliance, we have myself as the promoter, the marketer, the person who is educating and informing the public, bringing people to the table, and getting our real estate professionals certified so that they not only understand how this works, but they also know how to promote it and get in front of the right people themselves. Another part of the alliance is Realty Gift Fund. My partners, Bruce and Jay, who've been doing these kinds of transactions for 30 years. What I would like for you to know is this is not something new. This has actually been on the US tax code since 1917 for over 100 years. However, confused people do nothing. And typically, if it's a property owner who doesn't have an advisor that's certified and educated and knows that this even exists, then the property donor usually isn't even finding out about it. And when the nonprofit has heard a horror story or two about receiving a property that was contaminated, or getting a property and not being able to liquidate it and get rid of it, and it costs them expenses, etc., you get one bad story out there and all of a sudden everyone says no. But because of Realty Gift Fund, we have a way of eliminating every piece of risk that any nonprofit can even think of. And like I said, all you as the nonprofit need to do is say thank you.
So this is an interesting situation here, which is for the nonprofit can benefit from this, as well as the realtor can benefit. But not only that, the property owner can benefit as well because of the nature of whatever that situation that property owner is in. So, really quickly, how can a property owner become a donor?
Awesome. So, in those three legs of the stool, let me just share what each one of them benefits from. So, the real estate agent, because having been a real estate agent myself, I know the pain of going to networking events where there's 8 or 10 other realtors there. I know what it's like to go up against other competitors and have to fight for commission and make, prospecting calls, and not be able to get into that higher net worth clientele because someone else already has it sewn up. The beauty of this is for the real estate professional, this gives them a way to get into those circles of influence that maybe they wouldn't have had access to before. And we guarantee them a full commission listing. And if they do go to the networking events, they have a unique sales proposition. Now, to answer your question, the second leg of the stool is the property owner donor. And the reason it benefits them, first and foremost, let me just say 70% of the property owners who donate their property do it for altruistic reasons. They love Unity Radio. They love your mission. They want to see you get that antenna put up on the tower. They want to see you have offices that flourish and teach the kids about business and all the things that you're doing. So 70% of them do it just because they're good people. Maybe they're cash poor, but they're property rich. We have one gentleman who donated 2 properties in the last 2 years, totaling $700,000 that went to several different nonprofits because he was this passionate about his nonprofits. But the other 30%, or all 100% of them actually, get these 2 specific tax benefits. Number one, there's no capital gains tax. So for people who know anything about real estate, if you have bought a property and now you've had capital gains, meaning you've made money, you paid 100,000 and now it's worth $1 million, well, you got to pay taxes on that 900,000. But when you donate it to a nonprofit, you completely avoid the capital gains tax, which can be very substantial. 20 or 30% of your profit could go straight to the government. The other part of it is 100% of the appraised value is the basis for the tax write-off. So for example, that same property, you paid 100, now it's appraised at $1 million. What if for whatever reason you sold it for 900,000? Well, even so, when you're donating it to a nonprofit, the full $1 million appraised value is the basis for that tax write-off. So clearly there's a lot of reasons for property owners to do this. And, one of the things that I hear from people is, well, I don't know anybody who has property like that. I don't know anyone who could just give their property away. Well, if you're in real estate and you don't know people like that, maybe that's a good reason to learn about this so that you can hang out with those people who own 3, 5, 10, 20, 500 properties. that would love to do this type of thing. And frankly, we all know someone. Ernie, you know people right now who are already planning to leave a property to their church, or people who have a second property out at the lake or at the beach somewhere that the kids used to play at, but now all the kids have kids and nobody's using it and it's just falling apart. You know, banks that have full portfolios of non-performing assets. Imagine if one of the banks you know were to donate, let's say 10 properties at a value of $2 million, just for a round number. Imagine the PR that bank would get from donating $2 million. They get no capital gains tax, they get the full write-off, and they get to give it to Unity Radio and all the PR that would go along with that.
Wow, this seems as though there's a lot of benefits for everybody around associated with this whole particular project. Now, there's a lot of talk that you've been mentioning here in reference to money and mentioning the different positions. So this is an education process for someone who's like saying, wow, my head is spinning right now, and I got to figure out how to get involved with it. I like what it sounds like, but I would like to pursue it even further. So how can someone find out about what exactly you're talking about?
Well, I appreciate you asking that because I've just created two groups. One is on Facebook, which is the Charitable Gifting Real Estate Rockstars, and one is on LinkedIn, which is the Billion Dollar Club Real Estate Rockstars. And those two groups are specifically about educating and informing and being able to ask questions. And because the group Realty Gift Fund that I've partnered with have been doing this for 25, 30 years and have done millions of dollars in transactions, I've been interviewing real estate agents they've done deals with, property owners that have donated, nonprofits that have received the proceeds and benefits. All those interviews will be in those groups. And I will also be doing a lab in a couple of weeks where every day for a week, we'll spend an hour getting into different nuances of this. And we will be inviting the real estate professionals and the business owners in the area and the nonprofits who want to participate to step into Charitable Gifting Real Estate Training 101. So we're going to be training people on what all of this looks like. We're going to take a whole day workshop to really delve into all these little nuances. It's actually, I know it sounds a little complicated, but it's really quite simple. Let me break it down. Do we have time, or are we going to go to another module? Because I want to be able to give you the full breakdown of what it looks like.
So this is what we're going to do, Cami Baker of Alliance for Charitable Giving. This is Unity in the Community. I'm Ernie Floyd, along with Cami Baker. So this is what we're going to do. We'll do exactly what you suggested. Is let's take a break, because I really want to get involved with it, and I think some of our listeners are really getting involved with this as well. So joining us is Cami Baker. I'm Ernie Floyd, and you're listening to Unity in the Community on Unity 979 FM, Worcester's Community Connection. Here we go. We're rolling. This is part 2, Unity in the Community, take 1. I'm Ernie Floyd, and welcome to Unity in the Community. The Unity in the Community show embraces the city of Worcester's diverse cultural communities, music, the arts, and healthy lifestyles. And of course, someone is joining us right now who's making a difference right here in Central Mass, and also is making a difference in making, let me stop again, take 2. Sorry about that. Take 2, Manny. Hello, I'm Ernie Floyd, and welcome to Unity in the Community. The Unity in the Community show embraces the city of Worcester's diverse cultural communities, music, the arts, and healthy lifestyles. And joining us now is someone who's making a difference right here in Central Massachusetts, and also hopefully to Unity Radio, and her name is Cami Baker. Cami, welcome back again.
Thank you. Thank you, Ernie.
So you're going to take the time to break it down, the Alliance for Charitable Gift Giving. You're going to give us the breakdown for those who are really engaged with what you're talking about and want to benefit from exactly what you're offering, not only to the Unity Radio, but also all nonprofits right here in Central Massachusetts.
Or anywhere in the country, for that matter. This is a United States tax law, and the reason that the government created it is because they want to encourage philanthropy. And so when someone donates a property, they get those tax benefits that we talked about in segment 1, and the government is wanting them to give back and to have the money continue to flow. So here's what it looks like. First thing we need is a property. So in order for a property to qualify, any kind of property, condo, house, single family, multifamily, commercial, restaurant, farm, vacant land, anything but a timeshare will qualify. and it needs to have at least 50% equity, meaning it doesn't have to be free and clear, but it does need to have some equity because it's that equity that's going to go to the nonprofit. So when the property is brought to our attention, once it meets those criteria, it goes to Realty Gift Fund. Realty Gift Fund will decide within 48 hours if it is marketable. So it needs to be 50% equity and marketable, which means it can't be an old dog property that somebody is trying to unload. That is a fallacy that people think about the charitable gifting. Oh, it's just some property somebody wants to get rid of. We don't want it. It must be contaminated. Nope, no. And there are properties that might come to them that way that they just say no to, because think about it. Realty Gift Fund is the collaborative nonprofit right in the middle that removes all the risks from all the other nonprofits. So in order for the property owner to get the tax benefits, the property has to be given to a nonprofit. But you, as Unity Radio, you're not a landlord, you're not a manager, you're not in the real estate business. You are Worcester's Community Connection. You're doing what you do best. You shouldn't take ownership of the property because you don't know what to do with it, and that's okay. Realty Gift Fund does. So the property gets donated to them if they believe it to be marketable and that they can sell it in the next 30 to 60 days, etc. And what happens is when they take ownership of the property, now the property owner is out of the picture. They pay off the mortgage, they pay off any liens, because in order for them to take title, it has to be free and clear. So that property owner, this is another one of the many benefits that we get into when we start talking about the training in the 101 class, is that now they're done. Once they donate it, they're done. No more tenant headaches, no fixing up the property, no more taxes. The previous property owner is done. They got their tax write-off. Thank you. Realty Gift Fund owns it. So first thing Realty Gift Fund is going to do is put it on the market, because Unity Radio doesn't want to own a property, and neither does Realty Gift Fund. So when it's a real estate agent that we're working with that brought us the property, or any other real estate agent, we guarantee them a full commission, because Realty Gift Fund has been in the real estate industry. As the nonprofit who takes ownership, their only purpose for existing is to take ownership of property, fix it up, take care of it, sell it liquidated, and disperse the money to Unity Radio, to the animal people, to the veterans, to the homeless, whoever the property donor wants that money to go to. They sign a donor's agreement, and all the money goes to, it could go to one nonprofit or 10. It doesn't matter how many that it goes to. So when Realty Gift Fund hires that real estate agent, now the real estate agent gets a full listing commission. They are dealing with property owners, Realty Gift Fund, sellers that are seasoned, that are not emotionally attached, that are easy to get along with, that understand the value of the property, not more than what it's worth, like some traditional owners. Excuse me. So now when the property gets sold through that realtor, all the money is given to whatever nonprofit it is. So for you as the nonprofit, you don't need to do anything but let your contacts know that as a nonprofit, you accept the charitable gifting of real estate. Because when you put that on your website, when you let people know that through all of your shows, when you put it out on letterhead to all the people you know, there is someone that you know right now that would donate a property to you because they want to help you, they want to get the antenna up, and they want the tax write-off.
I find that pretty interesting. So this is a good opportunity to meet with the development team. And as we meet with them, share this information. So should they go to your training or your session, or is that training specific designed for the realtor?
Well, they certainly should get involved in the Facebook and or LinkedIn group to start, tiptoeing in. How does this work? Because I really just explained it all pretty much. Now, there's a lot of nuances. For example, and the property that was bought for $100,000 and now it's worth $1 million. Let's say that is somebody that you know. Let's say that's one of the bankers that you know, and that's his own secondary house. And he says, you know what? I love Unity Radio, but I don't love them that much. I'd like to get $250,000 out myself. I want to go to Vegas and I'd like to have some spending cash.
Sure.
Well, when that property is given to Realty Gift Fund, it's called a bargain sale. If someone wants cash out, or if there's a mortgage or a lien that needs to be paid off, it's called a bargain sale. Don't worry about why. It's kind of a confusing name to me. But the point is, if the property is free and clear of all encumbrances, that's one thing. If it's not free and clear, it's called a bargain sale. So we'll be going over all those little nuances when we get into the full-on training. So anyone who is really interested in this, reach out to me and let me know, and I can hook you up with one of our informational gathering sessions and let you know about the trainings that we have coming up.
Sure. You mentioned two names. Could you make the distinction between the two names and what their purpose is? You mentioned gift giving and also the Alliance. Explain what the Alliance is. Alliance for Charitable. Did I say that right? For
Alliance
charitable,
for Charitable Gifting of Real Estate. I know it's a mouthful.
right? And then there's another one you've been mentioning, gift.
Realty Gift Fund.
Yes. Please explain the two, please.
Sure. So the alliance is just that. An alliance means allies, lots of allies that are aligning for an alliance for something, that they're coming together to create. So think about the alliance as the umbrella it is. The alliance is all of us. The alliance can be you. It can be your real estate agent. It's the coffee shop owner downtown who wants to help participate in this. In other words, we are all allies aligned together. Realty Gift Fund is just part of the alliance, just like Cami Baker is part of the alliance. So Realty Gift Fund is simply that piece of the alliance that is our secret sauce. They are the facilitating nonprofit or the collaborative nonprofit. They are the nonprofit that takes ownership of the property so that the property owner gets the tax benefits, and so that the nonprofit, Unity Radio in this case, doesn't take any risk or responsibility. They're the nonprofit who does that in the middle, and when the property sells, they give the money to Unity Radio. They give them the charitable donation that the property owner wanted them to have.
This is an excellent creative way to get Unity Radio back in the game as far as raising money, because as you know, we had a previous event that was scheduled that we canceled, and respectfully so and understandably so. And it just because of the social meaning of it and also the complications behind the whole thing. And we know that it will be a challenge to go forward with that. So with this new opportunity that you're providing us, this is an excellent not only for us, but also for anyone in Central Massachusetts, as you would say, anyone in the world. This would be awesome to get involved with. So we're going to get our development team to talk about this. We're going to talk to you specifically about it, and we want to get on board on how to raise money, and so that it's a great charitable giving way. Everybody wins, of course, and at the same time, in the spirit of development for supporting Unity Radio, because there's a lot of things that are going forward in the future that we're planning. We have a strategic plan to do some really big things. So this comes at a timely manner and at the time for Unity Radio. So Cami Baker, once again, tell us how people can reach you and how they can get involved if those individuals want to raise money and get more understanding on how the Alliance works.
So you can always find me at camibaker.com, Cami at camibaker.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. It's all my name, just as you see it spelled on the screen. And this is a great opportunity for nonprofits to come together and work together for a change. So all of them, all of you are struggling to get the funding and the volunteers and the help that you've always gotten your whole career. So the reason why this is a great opportunity to work together, one property, like, think about it. If you do a bake sale and your goal is to raise $1,000, or you're doing a golf tournament, you want to raise $25,000, or maybe it's 50,000 or 5 million. I don't know what it is. But let's say you and the veteran group and the homeless group are all working together, just for an example. If all three of you came together and let all of your thousands and thousands and thousands of followers know that you are now accepting real estate as a charitable gift, which will excite them. There are some in there that want to give you property, but they've already been told no a couple of times. So now they're gun shy and they're not doing it, but they would give it to you if they knew that you could take it. If all three of those nonprofits were to come together and say, look, let's all find a donor, and which one of us finds a donor, let's talk to them about splitting it 3 ways. Now that one donor The gentleman that I talked about earlier, two properties that were 350,000 each. Each one of those were able to feed 3, 4, 5 nonprofits each. So my point is, great time to collaborate and work together.
So nonprofits can still do the bake sales. They can do the church sales as far as food goes and the dinners, and you can still have the golf events. So if someone decides to go forward with the real estate proposition, how many real estate transactions can they participate in through the course of a year?
As many as they possibly want to. I mean, our mission is to donate 1 billion, not million, billion, $1 billion of real estate to nonprofits worldwide by 2025. And that's going to take a lot of properties, and we're up for it. We want to do it. We're ready to educate and create the vetted resources that you need to make that happen. So as soon as people know, as soon as they're not, look, UNICEF, muscular dystrophy, uh, dozens and dozens of nonprofits have already worked with Realty Gift Fund, who is part of the alliance. The uh, Fidelity Charitables is the largest nonprofit in this country. Fidelity Charitables even uses our partnership when property is being donated. So my point is, there's a lot of places that already have, and once someone finds out about it and they know that they can take real estate, well, now they put it on their website and their letterhead, and they let people know, and then more starts to come in. It's just a matter of getting that ball rolling, and that's what we're doing in the Worcester area.
Yeah, and you have to be strategic and you have to be creative nowadays, especially with the so many different challenges on how to raise money. And the game on working with a nonprofit and trying to raise money changes all the time. So this is a wonderful way, another avenue that a nonprofit agency can take advantage of on raising money. And it seems as though it's a good cause and everybody wins.
Well, and not only that, Ernie, but when you think about it, like you said, hey, look, if you love doing bake sales because your mom makes the best banana bread, and you love doing golf tournaments because you're playing golf anyway, then by all means do them. They are social activity. We're human beings. We're supposed to have social interaction. That's all well and good. But if you're doing it because you're desperate and you don't know how you're going to keep your doors open, or you want to help that one other woman with breast cancer, or you've got a goal of saving 200 dogs this year, whatever your goal is, instead of doing those because you have to, imagine the shift of energy. If your golf tournament, if your fundraiser, if your gala, you're doing it just because it's fun. Just because it's fun. And if you make money, awesome. And if you don't, awesome. You're just there to have fun together. Imagine how that would shift everything. And imagine you're at the gala, and instead of having our hand out begging people to buy raffle tickets for all the baskets over on the table, what if we stood up and told those 200 people, hey, you know what? Instead of asking you to help us, we're going to help you this time. In this room of people who paid $100 a ticket to sit in this ball, there are people here who have property that they would like to liquidate, but you're not liquidating it because you got capital gains tax that are going to come out of it, and all of the different reasons why you're not. When you donate a property to us, we are actually giving you the benefit of all the tax benefits and giving you, the charitable, giving, philanthropic person, the opportunity to do all that you're wanting to do with us and for us, as opposed to us begging for help. We're working together, and win, win, win for everyone. It's a whole different energy, and it's only for people that are visionary, forward thinking, and truly do want to be a contribution. When all the nonprofits say, well, I want to contribute, I want to help the women, I want to help the kids, I want to help the puppies. Well, how about you help your donors? How about if you help the people who've been helping you all these past few years by actually letting them know that you will accept their real estate as a charitable gift?
Well, thank you for sharing this great opportunity to get involved with a way that everybody wins, especially in the charitable giving that takes place right here in America every day of the week and all year round. So once again, Cami Baker, you also have a show on Unity Radio, is that right?
I do. The Alliance for Charitable Real Estate. We air on Fridays at noon. And on those shows, I am actually interviewing all the people who've taken part in these transactions, as I've been mentioning. Very fascinating to listen to their mindset and to listen to the mindset of a property donor who wants to give the property, wasn't coerced, wasn't convinced, didn't beg him to do it. He wanted to do it. Listen to that Bob tape, because that'll give you a really great understanding of how this benefits the property owner.
Well, we look forward to more information about exactly this great opportunity for nonprofit organizations, as well as for Unity Radio as well. Cami Baker, thank you for joining me on Unity in the Community.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Once again, that's Cami Baker, and I'm Ernie Floyd, and you're listening to Unity in the Community on 97.9 FM, Worcester's Community Connection.